don't know who that man is. The Kaaba knows who that man is. Makkah knows who that man is. The Haram knows who that man is. Outside the Haram they know who that man is. That is the son of the greatest creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that you say you don't know him, it doesn't decrease from his status in any bit. That he is the truthful one. He is the son of Ali. He is the son of Fatima. But then you know what Farazdak says? Listen to this line if you listen to any line. Farazdak says that if Hajar al-Aswad knew that Zainul Abidin was walking towards Hajar al-Aswad, Hajar al-Aswad would fall at the feet of Zainul Abidin and begin kissing the feet of Zainul Abidin. All these Umayyads that they tried, but Haqq always prevails over Batil. And this is why you find when you look within recent years that an ideology, it was revived, that this Umayyad ideology, it continues within today's society. When you see people doing takfir, calling people kafir and worthy of killing them. When you see there's a country in the Middle East where there's not a single church within that country, which is the funder of terrorism throughout the world, which is the ideological root of terrorism throughout the world, know that they are following the ideology of Banu Umayyah. How? Because when Muawiyah saw that the Khawarij were against the Shia of Ahlul Bayt, you know what Muawiyah did? He went silent and he began to fund the Khawarij. Isn't that group funding terrorism throughout the world? And who is the root? The root is Ibn Taymiyyah. The root is Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah is an extension of that ideology, Shajarata Mal'una. Because when you look at the Quran isn't a book of specifics. The Quran is a book of concepts. Every concept is within the Quran. Some concepts are harder to find because like treasures, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden them. People say, where is Karbala within the Quran? Karbala is hidden within the words Dhibhin Azim. People say, where is Ghadir within the Quran? Ghadir is hidden within the word Balligh and Yawma Akmaltu Lakum Dinakum. They say, where is the name Ali within the Quran? The name Ali is hidden within the attributes of Allah. When the Quran says what? It says, وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ لِسَانَ صِدْقٍ عَلِيًّا. That these imams are the mazhar. They are the manifestations of the attributes of Allah. Allah hid their names within His own attributes within the Quran. But this shajarata mal'una is something which is clearly mentioned within the Quran. Their tughyan and kabira is clearly mentioned within the Quran. And how do you combat that? You combat that through the teachings of that group known as the Shajara Tayyaba. The Shajara Tayyaba. You know, Saduq has narrated, Qulayni has narrated that our fifth Imam quotes from Rasulullah. Rasulullah would say that I am that Shajara Tayyaba. I am that pure tree. My root is Ali ibn Abi Talib. My trunk is Fatima al-Zahra. The branches are the Imams. The leaves upon that tree are our Shia. Whenever our Shia is born, a leaf goes upon our tree. Whenever our Shia, he dies, a leaf, it falls from that tree. And this is that message you present towards the world. Because the world is looking for answers and we have solutions. That solution is Hussain. The world is looking for answers. We have solutions. And that solution is Hussain ibn Ali. And I've concluded today's majlis, I've concluded the series. You know, it's a tradition of our ulama, wherever they're invited anywhere, they thank those who invite them. So I thank Dr. Tajammal and our Sultan Rizvi uncle and Salman Hussain and our Shah Sahab, as well as everyone who's attended these programs to increase the blessings within their life. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I forgot to mention his name, but last but not least. Because I mentioned this now, because after Masaib, it won't be an atmosphere to mention or thank anyone. Because the Masaib I'm reciting today are the Masaib of that lady who is Ummul Masaib. This title is enough for Masaib. Ummul Masaib. You know, that somebody was reciting Masaib in front of Ayatollah Burjardi. You know what that reciter said? All he said was, Dakhalat Zainab ala ibn Ziyad. Zainab has entered the court of Ibn Ziyad. Ayatollah Burjardi said, stop the Masaib. This statement alone is enough for one to cry that the daughter of Ali is within the court of somebody like Ibn Ziyad. That this is that Zainab. You know, Zainab's musiba, it starts that when Imam Shimr sits on the chest of Hussain, Zainab would stand there and watch. You know, there's a narration of Imam al-Rida. Imam al-Rida would say, In kunta baqiyan ala shayyin fabka lil Hussaina. That whenever you want to cry, cry over Hussain. You know, this narration, it mentions there was a companion by the name of Yabna Shabib. The Imam, he says to Yabna Shabib, speaking about Imam al-Hussein, you know what the Imam says? He says, Innahu qutila kal kabash. That my grandfather Hussein was killed in the way they slaughter a sheep. And the Shabib, he says, Oh Mawla, they give water to sheep before they kill the sheep. Oh Mawla, they remove other animals in front of the sheep. Oh Mawla, they sharpen the sword. Did they give your grandfather water? Did they remove rest of the Ahlul Bayt? Did they sharpen the sword? Imam al-Rida, he began to shake. He says, Oh Yabna Shabib, nor did they give him water, neither did they sharpen the sword. At 70 steps, my Aunt Zainab would watch. At Tilla Zainabiyah, she would stand, she would fall. You find the musiba of Zainab, it begins. It is Shamil Ghariba. Upon that night, Zainab becomes Mushkil Kusha. Zainab is looking after Sakina. Zainab is looking after Rabab. But where will Zainab go? There is only one Zainab. There's only one Zainab upon that night. And you know why that night was ajab? Zainab on one end would pray for the night to end, because on that night that zulm was happening towards Sakina. But at the same time, Zainab would make a dua for the night to continue. Why? Because this night is the last thing which is covering the head of Zainab. Because tomorrow, for the first time, Zainab will go in the light of day without the hijab upon her head. That if you want to know the impact of Karbala, Ayatollah Mazandarani writes that in 4 months Rabab passed away, in 6 months Layla passes away, in a couple years Zainab passes away, in a few years Kulthum passes away. You know, it was the 11th of Muharram. On the 11th of Muharram, Zainab makes one request to Shimar. She says, Oh Shimar, don't take us through the Maqtal. We can't bear to see those bodies. Shimari takes them through the Maqtal. You find all of the BBs, they would go towards their beloved. But there were 2 ladies who would only go towards the shrine of Imam, who would go towards the body of Imam al-Hussein. One was Rabab, the other was Zainab. You know, when Zainab came towards the body of her brother, she fell upon the ground. You know what Zainab said? These 1 lines are enough for Masaib. She looks at the body of her brother. She says, A'anta akhi? Are you my brother Hussein? My brother, his head wasn't cut. My brother, his body wasn't broken in pieces. Then she looks towards Medina. She says, Assalamu alayka, Ya Rasulallah. Hasan Hussein. Oh Nana, this is Hussein. His body is covered in wounds. Zainab, she would stand by that body. She would say, Wa Hussaina. She would say, Wa Hijaba. She would say, Oh Bhaiya, if I had a chadar on my head, Bhaiya, I would use it as a kafan. that this is the musibah of Zainab. You know, if Zainab left Karbala when the bodies were buried, maybe Zainab would have peace within her heart. But you find that those bodies, they laid on the plains of Karbala for 3 days. When the women of Banu Asad, they went out towards the Furat, they saw all of the bodies were laying there. They go back in towards the men of Banu Asad. They say, you had promised Hussain that you would bury their bodies. You sit inside while the son of Fatima's body... You sit inside while the son of Fatima's body lays in the sun. They say, we'll go bury the body of Hussain. They say, no, we'll bury the body. When the men of Banu Asad, they come out, what do they see? They see none of the bodies have heads upon them. As they're thinking where to bury the bodies, they see that from Kufa, there comes a man dressed in black. He goes in between all of the bodies until he gets towards one body. He falls upon the chest of that body. It was Imam Zainul Abidin. He says, oh Baba, they put a chain on my neck. Oh Baba, they took the hijab of Zainab. Oh Baba, they hit your sakina. You find that they would come to Imam Zainul Abidin. They would ask him where to bury the bodies. They brought the body of Ali Akbar. Imam Sajjad says, bury it by his father, for his father loved Ali Akbar. Then they say, oh Khadi, oh captive, there is a body by the Quran. When we try to pick up that body, it breaks in half. Imam says, that is the body of my uncle Abbas. Leave that body by the Quran. Then he says, oh Banu Asad, step back, for only a Masoom can bury a Masoom. Imam Zainul Abidin, he's standing over the body of his father. He looks towards Medina. He says, Ya Jadda, Adrikni. He looks towards Najaf. He says, Baba, Adrikni. He looks towards Baqi. He says, Bhaiya Hassan, Adrikni. You find the Imam, he goes within the grave. Ayatullah Mazindarani narrates, Rasulullah picks up the top of the body. Ali picked the broken ribs of the body. Hassan al-Mustafa picked the feet of the body. As they were placing the body in the grave, there was a lady who was saying, Aista, place my Hussain carefully. His body is covered in wood. على لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون ماتم حسين
Magdi नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है रे अपने बाकी किसी को बुला दे रे अपने बाकी तू बुला दे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मकल चोरी अजमाल खुल गए दरबार आया और वीर भूल गए मकल चोरी अजमाल खुल गए दरबार आया और वीर भूल गए कर दी रानी ज़ैनब दुआएं अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है मन पीछे मर को नबरदारे अंजदी अली दी होली गली है जिस मैन देवी हो मन 18 भूल गए की हो कुछ बाजारा जिस मैन देवी हो मन 18 भूल गए की हो कुछ बाजारा बचया ना कोई आप सवारे अंजदी अली दी